Ukraine, and welcome to the first episode of Sunflowers Freedom Podcast. This has always been a dream of mine to create a podcast, and I decided to use this opportunity to create a podcast about Ukraine. Before we get to this first episode, I want to say that I have gotten a lot of comments on TikTok saying that, well, the war is a lie because people are still going with their lives. People still go to the stores and people still go to get coffee and walk in the park. And I want to say that not everything has to be based on suffering and hiding somewhere in a bunker or basement if the country's at war. If you are interested in the news, if you watch the news, if you follow up on what's going on in Ukraine, you understand that the whole country is under missiles attacks, so it's always in danger. But the front lines and the combat zones are on the east of Ukraine, which makes the central Ukraine and the west of Ukraine and some parts of the east of Ukraine still functioning. And in order for us to win this war and in order for us to be economically still stable as much as it's possible, the businesses have to run, people have to live, we have to eat, we have to buy things, we still have to go on with the life for as much as we can. I live in the west of Ukraine, and the war has not really touched this side of Ukraine, but for everything that we've been going through from the moment that it started, I have gotten enough to get a lot of stress. So this podcast is going to be about Ukraine, its traditions, the life in Ukraine. I'm going to talk about mental side of the war, how it affected everyone, how it affected me. And also I want to say that because I'm someone who struggles with depression because of what's going on in Ukraine, I think I can share some valuable tips that help me and maybe they can help other people. So it's not going to be only war-based. I am very excited to do this. I'm very excited to start. I know that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to come at me and they are going to say negative stuff. There are going to be people who are going to hate me for this, people who are going to disagree with me, people who are going to preach the propaganda and stuff. But I'm ready for that, as well as I'm ready to see where this podcast is going to take me, and I am ready to share the truth and to share actually the good things. And maybe years after, this podcast could be something that people are going to use to learn about Ukraine. So because this first episode is a very short episode, kind of like an intro, I have included some things that I want to highlight before we actually get into the episodes. Also, I want to say that this podcast is going to be available on Spotify, Apple, so you can listen to it on the go, and the videos that are going to be on YouTube, they are going to be a little bit different, but they will still consist the information that the general audio is going to consist. I'm happy to welcome you on this beautiful ride. I hope you will enjoy the podcast. If you guys have any questions, if you have any topics, any ideas, and you can help me to move this forward and just give me your ideas of whatever you would like to learn and hear about, let me know in the comments and I will consider that, and maybe I'll record another topic or I'll add it to one of the episodes. I want to start this episode by saying that I have never loved Ukraine as much as I do now, because all of my life I wanted to live in the US. I wanted to speak English in my daily life, and before the war I was a musician. I made music. I was so happy. I was so into it. I've seen it as a big goal in my life and I wanted to make it big into the music industry. On February 24th, 2022, things changed for me as it changed for everyone else. My life has completely changed 360, and I don't really feel like I regret the way it turned out, but I do miss the old life, and to be honest, I really miss the music, and I think and I hope that maybe I'll go back to it in the near future. But unfortunately, since the war started, I haven't released any new music. Though I started TikTok trying to kind of promote my old stuff, so yeah, hopefully maybe someday it's actually gonna bring me some opportunities. Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014 to be exact, and then on February 24th, 2022, they invaded massively, trying to get the whole country instead of getting Crimea and Donbas. Ukraine has always been fighting for freedom and its independence. We have always wanted to have foreign people visit our country. We always try to expand businesses so, you know, the whole world could kind of participate in it. We always wanted to grow as a country, to get into European Union. It's not a secret. And Ukrainian people, they just always wanted the growth. They never wanted to stay on one side. They never wanted to, you know, not to develop as a country. We always wanted to have a growth. We always wanted to get better. We always wanted to do better. And we always wanted the change for the country, for the good. Ukrainians' path to freedom has always been with challenges. In recent years, the country has faced economical, political, and territorial struggles. Territorial struggles, we all know thanks to who, and also I think political struggles are kind of involved in the territorial because we used to have a lot of pro-Russian people in the government, and I think unfortunately we do still have some of them in the government up to this day. It's not an easy path to get rid of everyone who supports Russia in the government, and it's not an easy path to find people who secretly are wishing to, you know, for Ukraine to lose and for Russia to take over the country. So it's a very long process, and I think we are working on it. We figure out the people who needs to be, you know, fired, who needs to be charged for things, and thankfully, like we can see the movement right now in all of that. But we had those people build the country for years, and we had those people prepare the country to be a part of Russia. And the very obvious thing that confirmed it was the Euromaidan movement that happened in 2014-2015. The movement started as a series of a profound European Union protests in Kiev, and the reason for that was because the government declined signing the document that would basically was an association agreement with the European Union. So our government was like, no. And people disagreed, and it's obvious. We wanted to move to a better life. We wanted to grow. We did not want to be the same. We wanted to get rid of Soviet Union standards, and we wanted to be a part of Europe. And then the government was like, you know what? No, thank you, sorry. Maybe some days later, maybe some years later, maybe never, but not today. Protests evolved into a broader demand for democratic reforms, transparency, and end to corruption. Everybody probably knows what happened after, how many lives were lost, and how Russia took the Donbass and Crimea. In 2014, I was 16 at the time, and I was going through a process of getting ready to go to US to study there, and I was very unsure if I should do it because I was very scared for my family. We were watching the news, seeing what was happening, and everyone was really certain about if the protests would take it further to other regions. Also, I remember that I was at school one day, and me and a few classmates decided to participate in a protest that we were having in our region, and we skipped the school and we decided to go, you know. I think it was a very interesting idea that we had at the time, because our families thought that we were at school. We didn't tell anyone what we were doing, we just left and we just, you know, got on a bus, got to the protesting place, and we were just there. So I was kind of taking part in it when I was little. So Ukraine's journey towards freedom is an ongoing process. It's a process that is shaped by its history, a process that's shaped by geopolitical dynamics and internal reforms. And we continue to strive for a more prosperous future, and I think now we're doing it better and actually harder than ever. The ongoing support that our country gets is insane. And on behalf of the whole country and on behalf of Ukrainians, I want to say thank you, because maybe, you know, again, I had a lot of comments on TikTok saying that, oh, like, I only share videos and donate a few times, like now and then, but I wish I could do more. You're doing a lot. Not everyone has to be here helping. Not everyone has to donate millions of dollars. Not everyone has to, you know, protest in Europe for like us giving the weapons or something. Everyone is doing what they can. As long as you're doing it, as long as you're actually concerned, and as long as you're helping and it has a great and positive motive, it's everything. Your help, it actually gives us hope, and it lifts us up, and it plants the seed of belief in our hearts, so that, you know, we are looking forward for the day when all this is over. I have always been a spiritual person. And I wonder, because I've been thinking about it lately, how much time we're going to need to heal, to grieve, and to, you know, feel something again. Because if we're talking about mental side of the war, sometimes it feels like we don't feel nothing. Like, sometimes it feels like you're just so numb to things, like you don't really feel the emotions anymore, like you've been suppressing them for a long time, because mostly all of them are very, you know, stressful and negative, and it's very hard and it's pain, and you just can't wrap your head around a lot of things that are happening. So are we even going to heal someday? Like, this is my main concern right now. There aren't enough words to describe the things that I have seen. I have traveled to the East and I have seen a lot of stuff, and what I've seen is not the worst, actually, because like if you look at it with your own eyes, you feel like I had these thoughts like, oh my god, this is so intense, like this is so heartbreaking, what could actually be worse? And then there are things that are worse than that, and then you think again, what could actually be worse than this? And then the worst happens. So it's like, you know, it's like an ongoing process, almost like a loop. And the crimes that Russia's committing on our land, it's very hard to process in your head. And I have heard so many stories from people, and I've seen so many things, and there aren't enough words, to be honest, to describe what it makes you feel, and like you can't do it. And there aren't enough words to describe what the people who have lost everything, who've lost their families, who've lost their homes, people who, you know, just been living in the occupied territories, and they had to deal with all of that. It's very scary and it's very hard. But there are enough words for me to share the stories, for me to share the truth, and for me to share what is happening, along with the good side of it. And I promise there are going to be good things that I'm going to be sharing. Not everything is going to be connected about the worst things, the worst things that are happening right now. So like, I mean the war in general. So yeah, I promise you there are going to be some positive episodes, so stick around and you're going to listen to them very soon. With that being said, this was kind of like an intro episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I am very happy that I could finally sit down and do this. I was very unsure, I was very stressed about this too, and I was very scared if I should even sit down and talk. I haven't been doing this for a very long time, so it feels very unnatural to me. Thank you for watching. If you're here still, hello, hi, thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and leave your comment. It would mean so much to me, and it will keep me going and make more episodes. Again, just to remind you, you can listen to this podcast on a go using Apple Music and Spotify. I'm unconditionally grateful for this opportunity that the universe actually gave me, this push to do this podcast, and I'm excited to see where it's gonna take me. It was so much love. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.